Huh? We'll throat slash him. Just throat slash him. It's fine.
What?
It's legal on this show.
Hey,
Throat slash him.
I guess I'm going to pull a BA.
That's what I mean. You're done. Get the, you know what, out of
exactly.
here, right?
Yes, Skip. Yes, they're done. Now, I will say this. I like what the Cowboys did. I told you I thought they would play at least.
You did say that. You were right about that.
They would play at least to the half, and they played, late in the third quarter, maybe even the first series of the fourth
Dak
quarter.
played into the fourth quarter.
Exactly. But, Skip, they needed that, and I love what the Cowboys did to an inferior opponent. The Eagles rested 16 of their 22 starters. Basically, Kelsey played one snap, so basically they rested 17 of the 22 starters.
They did.
But this wasn't about the Eagles. Eagles did what they felt was in the best interest of them, getting ready for the playoffs, and I felt the Cowboys did what was in the best interest of the Cowboys for them to get ready to the playoffs. Skip, they needed timing. They needed rhythm. They needed Dak to go back, go through his drops, go through his progressions. They needed the receivers to do what they did. And what you do when you play an inferior opponent, you already should be better than them. And when they put their backups in, you punish them. They went and got 51 points. That's what you should do. But I told you the matchup, I said, go with it right now. I said, no, I was just waiting to see if a couple of pieces, a couple of things fell in the right place.
Oh, so they did. Voila.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
God dropped them out of the sky to 49ers. I said, Shannon, you want the 49ers to go to Dallas? I sure do.
Because?
And that front four.
Oof.
They can get after you without sacrificing their back end. When you get Bosa and you get Armstead and you get Key and you get those guys that can pressure without having to sacrifice or bring pressure on the back end, you're going to be really good. And Skip, you know they can run the football. They're going to run the football against anybody. But you got to run the offense through Debo. Debo and Mitchell. I've never seen – I don't care what anybody says. I've never seen anything like Debo Samuel, Skip, in all my years of play. A guy that can go get you 12, 1,300 yards receiving the ball, and you line him up in the backfield, Skip, he can legitimately go rush for 100 yards if you gave him enough carries. He's as physical of a football player as that you'll find. Now, the key is, Jimmy G. Are we going to see the Jimmy G that we saw yesterday, or are we going to see a guy that turns the ball over? Even though he still turned it over, Skip, he was big time. He was big time yesterday. Matthew Stafford didn't play well. I was more disappointed in the defense, the Rams defense, than Matthew Stafford, because you had a 17-point lead, and Stafford gave you another lead with 2.5 minutes left in the ball game, and you let Jimmy G go down the field and tie it up and send it to overtime. But Skip, this is the type of team that can cause you problems because they can run the football. They're top 5 in rush offense the second half, averaging 140 yards the last 9 games. And like I said, that front four can go get after Dak Prescott. Now, Dak might do a better job than Stafford because he is more mobile. He might be able to elude some of that pressure, but they're going to get it. They sacked Stafford 5 times, hit him another 13 times. They will get after your guy. You're going home.
Going home? We're already home.
No. Hey, I'm like Joel Embiid. Go home. Like Joel Embiid say, go home. Now, I'm going to tell you what Fox Bet thinks of you. You got 12 wins. The other team got 10 wins. They're coming to see you. You're a 3-point favorite. So what did I tell you, Skip? Now, you get 3 points for the home field. So basically, Fox Bet said this is a push game. This is basically a pick 'em ball game. I'm picking the 49ers. And I want 5 cases right now. I want you to try to wiggle out of it. I want 5.
Wiggle out of it?
I don't want you to wiggle out of it.
I want 6 cases right here, right now. And it may go to 10 before this week is over. But I want to start the bidding at 6 cases right here, right now.
3 points?
No. You didn't ask for any. You threw the cases on the table without asking for any points. No points.
No points.
No points. 6 cases.
Done.
Thank you. I have told you since Hard Knocks, since training camp, that something about my Dallas Cowboys this year is different. Different special, different swagger, different vibe, different defense, different because of Micah Parsons has changed the way we play football. He did not play on Saturday night at Philadelphia. He would have, but he's in COVID protocol. I assume he has COVID. And I'm just hoping against hope. I'm betting 6 cases that he's going to be okay next Sunday, late afternoon. Okay? So I don't know how badly he got hit by COVID. A lot of people are getting hit pretty hard by it, but it doesn't seem to be as bad as it was the first go-around with the first variant.
Correct.
Okay. I still believe in my football team. And to your initial point, You were correct about Saturday night, and I was dead wrong about Saturday night. And Jerry Jones, I must say, for once in his life when it comes to making a football decision, was absolutely right. Because I was horrified by what I saw on my TV. I sat on my couch the whole Saturday night holding my breath that one of my guys wasn't going to go down in what amounted to a camp scrimmage against the Eagles' backups for the most part. There were a bunch of practice squatters on that defense. But my point is that Jerry pushed for his starting quarterback, his franchise quarterback that he's paying $75 million this year to play. He wanted him to play the whole game, but he did play into the fourth quarter. Okay, so here's how scared I was on Saturday night. If I could first show you one play that happened to my man CeeDee Lamb, this is early in the second quarter. If we could see this, and it was one big catch of the night. This is 31 yards to CeeDee Lamb, my best receiver. And he gets smashed and crashed and pinballed. Tell me, Mr. Sharpe, you played this game a long time at a high level. Is this not dangerous and dangerous? Yeah. Could that not have been concussion city? Yep. We've seen him miss a game with a concussion. I think he missed two games actually with the concussion. Is that not a potential concussion shot? And when that happened, I just covered my eyes and fell on the floor. And Ernestine said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Jerry Jones is going to wreck my season." And we live to tell.
Right.
We survived. And not only did we survive, but we thrived, albeit against that mess that was out there for the Philadelphia Eagles. But my quarterback, obviously, I don't care what he says. I don't care what his coach says. He's been in a slump. Yes. I can just, we don't have enough show for me to detail for you just how much of a slump he's been in. But he rallied. Would you believe my quarterback had a QBR on Saturday night, despite the competition, of 99? 99, it was by far the best of the final weekend.
Might have been one of the best of the year.
It was one of the best of the year, and it vaulted him all the way up into the top 10. He finished 9th in QBR for the regular season. I will take that to my playoff bank. I have told you again and again that his QBRs in the 3 playoff games that he's played have been extraordinarily high. He has played at a high playoff level 3 times, and I trust that he's going to play at a higher one this time. So my point is, I'm going to boil down this game against that opponent for which I have high regard and big respect. It's still going to boil down to what every playoff game boils down to, which quarterback makes the play.
That's it.
It's as simple as that. And I believe my guy will make one more big play than Jimmy G can make with a busted thumb that he has. I don't know exactly what's wrong with it, but it's still plaguing him. And yet he made a bunch of big-time throws.
He made some throws yesterday.
All right, but when it looked like they were going in for the kill, as you recall, earlier in the fourth quarter, it was 7:55 left. If we could see the one interception that he made one mistake and he missed Kittle down near the goal line. And this is when I thought they were just going in for the kill. This could have put them up. Oh, we don't have it yet. I'm sorry, we don't have it. But you know which I'm talking about. It's the Jalen Ramsey interception. And he just threw it a little high and behind Kittle, and it gets tipped up in the air. And J-Ram makes a really nice play at the goal line.
Yes.
And it seemed to turn the game in their favor. Because here we go. Here we go. And it just caroms up in the air. And that's a big-time play by a big-time cornerback, obviously. And it looked like it had changed the game at that point, and it's a Jimmy G special. It's why they failed in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl that they did get to after Jimmy G had been limited to what? He threw 8 passes in the NFC Championship game. Yeah. They just ran it and ran it and ran it and ran it on the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so what do I think Kyle Shanahan is doing as we speak? He and his father, Mike, for whom you played, and you watched Kyle grow up.
I did.
I think they are both watching film of the Dallas Cowboys defense, licking chops. I think they are thinking, God, we can just run this down their throat. Because what did your now ex-coach of the Denver Broncos say after he went to Jerry World, and he actually won the game 30-0. It wound up 30-16, but they're up 30-0 early in the fourth quarter.
Gave you the blueprint.
Gave you the blueprint. Well, what was the blueprint that day for your Denver Broncos? Well, it was 190 yards rushing the football, right? That was 4.6 per play. So they just ran it and ran it and ran it. And Teddy Bridgewater was pretty good in that game. He threw for 249. A touchdown and no picks. and they totaled 407 yards of offense. And they controlled the clock the whole game because it was absurd what they did. They had the ball for 41 minutes in that game to whatever the rest of the clock.
20 plus.
Yeah, it's 19, 41 to 19. Okay, well, okay, there's the blueprint.
Yeah.
He's now your ex-coach because after that game, he proceeded to lose 6 of 8, including his final 4. So I guess he only had the blueprint against Dallas. If they could have played Dallas 5 or 6 times this year, maybe he'd still have his job, right?
He was good, but that's the thing. You understand how you have to play Dallas. You have to, you have to slow it. They have a very high-powered offense. They got 3 receivers that can, especially, and I told you Cedric Wilson will be just fine. He operating out of the slot, Skip. Yeah, you move CeeDee Lamb outside, and since CeeDee Lamb has moved outside, Skip, he hadn't been putting up the numbers that he normally puts up in the slot. But that's okay because if Cedric Wilson's going to give you 2 touchdowns and 100+, you can live with that. Amari Cooper gave you 80+ and a touchdown. You can live with that. But the question is, Skip, are you going to be able to run the football like you did Saturday against backups against the 49ers? Because if you look at it again, your theory held up. When you run it more than you throw it, you have success. When you rush for 100 yards, more times than not, you have success.
And when they didn't, Dak was 0-5.
Exactly. So are you going to run the ball Sunday to the tune of 32 for 171? Is that going to be 21 of 27 for 295 and 5 touchdowns? No turnovers, a clean game? Because if you are, well, the 49ers are in trouble. But I don't believe that's going to be the case. I believe they can put pressure. They can hit Dak. They can make him uncomfortable. I don't believe you're going to have the success running the football. So at the end of the day, if I'm Kyle Shanahan and both coordinators and head coaches are saying this, I want you to put the ball in the quarterback's hand. I want you to make Dak Prescott beat me. I want you to make Jimmy G beat me. Do not let Deebo Samuel, do not let Mitchell, do not let these guys run the football.
Okay.
Do not let Zeke, do not let Michael Gallup beat us. I want the quarterbacks to determine the outcome of the ball game.
All right. So I remind faithful Dallas Cowboy fans of what happened last year at the end of the year, Week 15, December 20th, at Jerry World, who visited Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. They did not have Jimmy G. They had Nick Mullins, and then they had a little bit of C.J. Beathard. But they still had a vaunted rushing attack.
Right.
And they ran it that day for 150 yards, which was about 4.2 per carry. And they controlled the clock 35 to 25. And they had 458 yards to Dallas's grand total of 211, featuring Andy Dalton at quarterback. But 458 to 211. The final score was Dallas 41, San Francisco 33. Why was that, ladies and gentlemen? Because the 49ers committed 4 turnovers.
Yes.
Dallas committed none. It was 4-0 in turnovers, 2 lost fumbles, 2 interceptions, one by Anthony Brown and one by Donovan Wilson, the safety, who is now back in the rotation for the Dallas safety. So the point is, they did it with turnovers. What do I have going for me right here, right now? My defense finished first in the NFL in takeaways. That's pretty great. First in interceptions. That's pretty great. First in the all-important, all-telling stat of turnover differential. We finished plus 14. That was actually tied for first with the Colts, and how the Colts didn't make the playoffs is unfathomable.
You know how, but I ain't going to say it.
It's Wentz. I mean, wincing, it's Carson Wentz. But the point is, now let's get back to the offense. I just gave you my defense.
Right.
What do I know about my offense? It just finished first in the NFL in points scored. Is that good? 31.2. It also had 26 different players score touchdowns this year because a bunch of them were on defense and or special teams.
Right.
26, that's an NFL record, I might add. But still, points 31.2 ahead of Tampa Bay at 30.1, the GOAT. And first in yards at 407 a game. Tampa Bay was second at 40.6. So my team was 406. I'm sorry, 406 yards. So just a yard short.
Yeah.
But still, okay. So first in points, first in yards, first in takeaways,
tied for first
in turnover differential. Third down defense, second to only the Buffalo Bills. That's pretty great, right? Dak finished 9th in QBR. That's pretty good. I would say I just added up defeat for the 49ers. This team is just a little bit better than San Francisco, and it will play better in this playoff game.
Being better and then playing better is something entirely different. But Skip, you know this. In a game, in the playoffs, It comes down to a handful of plays, a handful of throws. Which QB makes those throws in those moments? You believe your quarterback will make those throws, not turn the ball over. I'm sure Kyle Shanahan believed that he can put Jimmy G in a situation. Because I'm shocked, Skip. They're down 17. And I'm saying that this game's over.
I did too.
This game's over.
Okay, but what do the 49ers have going for them against the Rams? They just have their number. They just have their number, and you see it. And you know what? I'm here to tell you, as much as I tried to beat my chest about bring on the Arizona Cardinals, I think they have our number. So I would have been pretty scared about that matchup. I don't think the 49ers have the Cowboys number. I just don't. I'm sorry. It's just one of those things against the Rams that is almost inexplicable. But right on schedule, they just fell apart.
Yeah.
They should have won that game. They didn't win that game. They've lost 6 straight games to their arch rival within the division.
Especially if Jimmy G starts.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. For whatever it is, he feels comfortable because he never seemed to get rattled, Skip. And even on that interception, it should have came back because they hit him in the head. And he was complaining like, he hit me in the head. Y'all not going to call the foul?
He got a slap, an open-handed slap.
I think the linebacker, Reader,
yeah.
hit him in his head. But, Skip, when you can run the ball like the 49ers can run it, so they can control the clock and keep Dak and that high-powered offense off the field. And when he comes on the field, if you can take your front four without having to sacrifice your back end by bringing secondary pressure, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Their front four can get after that.
Okay. And also, obviously, if you can come in and get 190 yards rushing, 150 yards rushing.
Oh, they get 190 yards, you're losing, Skip.
Okay, you're going to lose because you know who it's going to take out of the equation? 11 from Evan.
Yeah.
Because he's not the greatest run stopper. No. He rushes the quarterback.
Right.
He plays a little bit of pass defense. He disrupts all over the field. But if you just come right at him, he's still, as you would say, a little light in the back end and light in the back pocket, and that's not his forte yet.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. Guys that want to rush the quarterback, you want to jump off the ball, okay, we're going to run the ball at you. And you'll run yourself, you'll take yourself out, and the crease that you create by trying to get to the quarterback, we'll hit that crease and get some extra yards. This is going to be I guarantee you, of all the teams that the Cowboys could have faced, this was the one they would least pick to face.
I don't know. I'd pick Arizona, but that's just me.
No, you'd pick the Rams. You would pick Philly. You would pick. I believe you would pick Arizona because Dak said he wanted to see Arizona.
No, I'm saying they're the ones that I would fear the most.
You would fear the most. I think it's the 49ers, Skip, because they can run and their front four is as good. And it doesn't get talked about, Skip. I mean, I don't know what it is, but Bosa and Armstead are as good at the tandem at rushing the quarterback as we have. And you throw Key, they got some guys that can go get the quarterback now.
Okay. So what happened in that fateful game last year in December? Guess who busted the game open to get them to 41 points at the end of the game, although CD ran a kickoff back on a onside kick. But guess who broke the game open? Tony Pollard. He's my secret weapon. He did not even go to Philadelphia because he's still nursing his torn plantar fascia. He looked okay in the game. He came back. So he ran for a 40-yard touchdown, and it was the deciding play of the game against the 49ers defense that was still pretty much intact.
Right. Well, they didn't have Bosa last year.
They didn't have Bosa.
But he's a difference. That kid's a difference maker.
Well, I got it. So I look at their Pro Bowlers. Debo, Kittle, difference makers. Trent Williams, the best left tackle in football. Juszczyk, best fullback in football, and then Nick Bosa. Okay, so I give you all that respect. But now I go back to Saturday night. I just needed my quarterback to get right. And even though you could argue it's fool's gold because the opposition is practice squad type, he probably gets a stiffer test in practice going against his own defense, right?
Does.
Okay, but if we could now see his 5 touchdown passes, which did set the Dallas Cowboy single-season record of what it was, 37.
37. He got 37. Romo had 36.
Yes. Okay, if we could see these in order. Here's to Cedric.
Guys running into each other.
There's nobody home. You know? Okay, and I think it was offensive pass interference on CD. And here's Cedric again. Okay.
That was a great scheme.
Yeah. Okay.
Run 2 underneath and run him to the 7.
A little play action to Schultz. They're very good at that. And he's his new security blanket. Blake Jarwin is also back. There's Schultz again.
Yep, ran him high the first time. And
this is early in the fourth quarter, and I'd say Corey Clement, nobody's home. I don't know degree of difficulty. Those are all pretty easy, almost gimme touchdowns, right?
Isn't that what you want?
That's what you wanted.
You just want
confidence.
Yes,
I needed him.
yes, yes.
I needed Mike McCarthy to be firing back after the game by saying, I just think it's a hell of a year for a guy that was in a slump. Ha, ha, ha. So he's taking a sarcastic shot back at the media. He's saying of Dak, he's special. He's a special man. He's a tremendous leader. Hopefully he'll get some recognition for how he plays the game on the field, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here we go. But I like this. I'm okay with this because you can argue that it's just a bunch of pie-in-the-sky phony baloney of what happened in Philadelphia. But I believe they will step on the field against the 49ers with high, renewed confidence.
Skip, Mike McCarthy's coached this game far too long to understand that regular season is fine, but you get judged by what you do in the playoffs.
Well, he should know that.
He knows that. Brady, all these 80,000 passing yards and 600 touchdowns, that's fine and good. But what about the playoffs? That's where you make the name. That's where you become iconic. That's where you become immortal.
Yep.
Is in the playoffs. And so Dak gets an opportunity again. All that 37 touchdown Cowboy record and 5, all these yards, all that's fine and good. Well, now you got a 4-game season.
Okay.
What you gonna do with it?
I'll take Dak over Jimmy G any day, any night, any playoff
I'm taking
game.
Kyle Shanahan over Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
You know what?
Neither of those play the game of football.
Yeah. But his imprints on it. I want to make it come down to strategy. I want it to come down to situations where Mike McCarthy is going to have to make decisions. See, 51, 30, 51, 25, there's no decisions to be made.
Okay, I will take Kellen Moore over Kyle Shanahan. So that's what it boils down to me, because Mike McCarthy doesn't call any plays, right?
No.
Okay, so I am so confident that right here, right now, I will go 7 cases of Diet Mountain Dew if you'd like to.
We go at 6 right now.
Okay.
We gonna see how it plays out, you know.
We have all week.
Gotcha.
to
We got
this.
No, I ain't on no run. I'll be right here. I'll be right here all week.
49ers, content for days. Oh, I cannot wait to see this one play out.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.